Okay, everybody, I get it. I hear your complaints. You want more realistic, more natural looking parkour, and I'm going to give it to you, psych. No, I'm not. Welcome back to the Rapatopoulos Show, and while this clip may start out with a simple and satisfying stealth sequence, I promise you it won't be long before it evolves into the most unhinged and psychotic parkour gameplay I've ever recorded, and I want to use it as an opportunity to explain some of my ideas concerning parkour choreography and address some issues that people have with more abstract pathing in Assassin's Creed videos. There are a couple different arguments I can make for this, a few points to be made, and I think the most obvious one is that a lot of the things that you see in Assassin's Creed parkour videos by myself and some of my parkour associates is for style. Style is a word that I've used in a number of other videos, and it's something that is very important to the identity of Assassin's Creed, and has been since the very beginning. Movement, combat animations, assassination animations, these are all things that contribute to the overall style of Assassin's Creed, and using certain parkour moves or finding an abstract route to take is a natural extension by the player to capitalize on the style that Assassin's Creed cultivates. Sometimes the things that you see in an Assassin's Creed parkour video are not the most direct, most efficient, or most logical decisions available at that moment. But there's a reason that we choose to do them, and as nerdy and pretentious as it may sound, it's a form of self-expression in a way. Not every game allows for this kind of expression within gameplay, and it's one of the things that makes Assassin's Creed so special. Another pretty solid defense for this type of movement is that I'm making videos for YouTube, for people to watch and enjoy. I don't want to take the most direct, most obviously streamlined and efficient route possible. The whole reason I'm making these videos is to showcase things that you haven't seen before, to create a weird and obscure route that will actually be interesting to watch. Within this cute little community of ours, there are different players who are more or less willing to sacrifice their parkour efficiency in order to do a cool little trick that may serve absolutely no purpose beyond that, being cool. I know Animus Drifter puts a lot of focus into making his videos as logical as possible while still flexing the moveset to its absolute limit. That's why he's the best. Does that mean he's right to do that? Well, yes, because that's what he wants to do. His approach is true to who he is and what he wants to do. Does it mean that a video that's less focused on the overall journey and maybe spends more time interacting with a small space to say, hey, look at this weird and fun thing I can do here, is wrong? No, that's why there's room for so many parkour channels to exist. My video is not going to look like Animus Drifter's video, which isn't going to look like Jacer's video, or Brooks's video, like Magnum Spider or Lethal Evasion's or Reclusive Starfish's video, and dozens of other great parkour channels. Check out Reclusive Starfish, by the way, probably the most underrated parkour channel on the platform. Everybody sees the architecture in an Assassin's Creed game differently. 10 different players can look at the same series of objects and they will all come up with a different way to navigate them, and I think that's so incredibly cool. And I don't really understand why anyone would want to see the most logical and predictable approach every time when there's so much room for creativity to flourish between those objects. I started this channel with no goals, no expectations whatsoever besides to have fun and oh my god, did he pass him? That's not my fault. That's the game's fault. That's not skill issue. Pass him. We were doing so good. Look at this. Shame on you. How could you do this to me? How could you? Anyways, I started this channel with absolutely no goals, no expectations whatsoever besides having fun and never wanting to take things too seriously. And I wanted to communicate that to anyone who saw my videos. Weirdly specific joke titles and stupid thumbnails were my bread and butter because I wanted to remind people that video games are supposed to be fun. Immersion is great, guys, but don't forget that there are no real stakes here. The fate of the world as we know it doesn't hinge on how quickly and efficiently you get to where you're going. So take a deep breath, let your right brain take over for a while, and enjoy yourself. You're playing a game. So, I guess my point is sometimes I will make a video that follows a more logical path, a video with goals and intent that is easier to understand, and I think that's great. But sometimes I will make a video which is a completely unhinged parkour freak show, and it's fun, and that's great too. And I think that's the beauty of Assassin's Creed. It allows you to make that decision for yourself. want to know what the hardest part about making YouTube videos is, at least for me, is when you have like 10 minutes of gameplay to share, but you only have like 5 minutes of stuff to say, and then you're like, well, what do I do? Do I just let this play out? Because then like the pacing is going to be crazy. Or do I just ramble for the remaining 5 minutes? So we're going to try the second approach, and we'll see how, if this unhinged video can become any more psychotic. Most of what you're seeing from this point on is not choreographed. This is like loosely choreographed here, but because of, you know, different guard behaviors and such, you can't really choreograph something like this, especially if you're coming from far away like I did. So I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do here. I was lucky enough to get a sweet little combat animation right there, which is just, it really makes me happy, because like 9 out of 10 times you get one of the really boring ones. So I was happy to get a really nice one there. This is a really fun camp to clear out. I forget what it's called, but a lot of good opportunities for cool stealth moves can be found. This is a nice little trap that I threw. Would you like me to explain every little thing? Should I just... that's called a zip line, and this is called water. And when you, it's like, so this is like running, but in the water, and it's called swimming. So everything from this moment on is unchoreographed. Should I just cut the video here? That would probably make more sense. But there's cool stuff that happens. I don't want to leave it out. Yeah, so this is all unchoreographed. I didn't know what I was doing here. Sometimes in the end of a run like this, I'll either be like, oh, I'm gonna just freestyle it, or if the run is over and I'm like, well, I might as well try to pin something extra onto the end here. That's kind of what this is, somewhere in between those two things. But yeah, I can't cut it here because there's a really cool little kind of stealth interaction at the end, which I want you to see it, so you have to stay, or you'll hurt my feelings. And I'm a sensitive guy, and I might do something crazy if you don't. I apologize for too much rolling. Sometimes that happens. Too much rolling, too much sliding. I'm guilty of it. It's just, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it now. The gameplay is recorded. It's done deal. You may be shocked to find this out, but I can't bend time and space at my will and discretion in order to change the contents of a video. I can, however, edit, but that would ruin the integrity of the video, because there's certainly no editing tricks or anything that has taken place up until this point. I would never doctor any footage. I would never do anything like that in order to, in order to trick you. I really like using traps to blast dudes off of rooftops. I wish you could just push them or knock them off or grab them like in the old games, but that could be said about a lot of things in this game. I wish it was more like the old ones. You know what I mean? So this is the beginning of that stealth interaction I was telling you about. Although I kind of effed up the smoke bomb throw there, but we pulled it off. We got the guy. We got him down. And it's about at this point that I realize that I've exhausted like almost all my tools. So we're going to go ahead and berserk this fool, which I turned berserk darts on some point recently. I don't remember why. I was working on something that has not seen the light of day, but they're pretty fun because you can just have a little show here. You could just be like, just be, hey, why don't you two, this guy just trying to hook up with your girl or whatever. That's what it is. It's a jealousy dart. Yeah. Classic. I've seen this outside the club too many times to count. It's just boys being boys, I guess, right? This guy's taking a lot of hits, which is like, pretty impressive, I gotta say. Oh, and then I was like, oh, I can tool with this guy a little bit. He's like, probably basically dead. But then all of a sudden, surprise special guest, the whatever you call him, Shakira, right? Hips don't lie. And then, yeah, so I'm like, all right, I better make quick work of this guy so that I can focus on Mr. Scary over here. Because I don't think I've taken any hits in this video, and it would be a shame to take one at the end here. But, oh, fell right into my little trapperino. And it's nighty-night, Mr. Shakira. And then which is good. It was like kind of like he's kind of like my Uber Eats, except it's more like Uber knives because I didn't have any more tools. I used them all, killing every single one of his friends. So I figured it was the most respectful thing to do at this point to pile all these guys up together and give them a little bit of a send them out like my main man DV, like good old Darth at the end of Return of the Jedi, which is a funeral any man would be jealous of or envious of. That's how I want to go out. I want to be cremated in a Darth Vader helmet. So use this as my official will and testament. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.